Hello! So, today I'm going to show you how I re-enclosed a behringer pedal. It looks like this now. I think it's kind of cool, but before I start, I just want to talk a little bit about it. The thing is, it's kind of difficult and it's kind of annoying. It's definitely a headache, and so there are other options of things you can do that I would say are a much better thing to do. Now, obviously, if you have a broken behringer pedal and you don't feel like throwing it away because you paid money for it and you feel like it's a waste, then I think doing this sort of thing might be the right thing to do. But if you want to buy a bunch of cheap, inexpensive pedals and you want to rehouse them into metal enclosures and pretend like you're not playing behringer pedals, which is not like, there's nothing wrong with playing behringer pedals at all, I think. I personally don't think they sound that good, but or not all of them at least sound that good. But I don't think that there's anything wrong if you like them. You like what you like, and you shouldn't have to be ashamed about it. You are not a bad guitarist because you like these pedals. It has nothing to do with anything. You like what you like. Anyway, the thing is, I think there is something that makes it really annoying and hard, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But if you are looking for pedals, you can either buy other brands that already come in metal enclosures that are a little bit more expensive, but not that much more expensive, and you save yourself a lot of headache. So I think those are maybe another options. Obviously, it all depends on your own, what kind of money you can spend on pedals. So you have to make decisions for yourself. But you can also buy pedal kits, like this one. This is from a store called Music Ding. Here I have the papers that I need to build this pedal. And the thing is, it's much easier and it's way more fun to build one of these kits. And I think you get a much nicer pedal. You get better quality parts, the components inside the pedal. Now, obviously, that doesn't really have anything to do with the way the pedals sound. It has more to do with how long it's going to last and things like that. But I definitely think that you get better quality parts, especially since I've looked inside a behringer pedal and there isn't anything really fancy, let's say that, in there. But anyway, and you can do some fun things with them. You can make them look however you want, and you can have fun. Here is a pedal I've made. I call it Tremolosaurus. I don't know why. I thought that was funny when I did it. Maybe you don't. Anyway, here's another pedal that I made. And you've probably seen it in other videos. It's just a lot easier to put these kits together. It's a lot more fun. And you learn more about pedals. And you don't have to mess around with all the annoying parts of putting one of these pedals in a metal enclosure. Now, obviously, that's if you're looking for cheaper pedals. One of these kits, now obviously different kits cost different amount of money, but I could buy 2 behringer pedals, tremolo pedals, for this tremolo kit that I have here. And I personally think, since I've already made one of those kits, that those are better than the behringer pedal tremolo. The tremolo behringer pedal. And obviously it's all a question of taste. So if you have a behringer pedal, if you want to rehouse it into a metal enclosure, do that, but do it if the pedal breaks. Because some people have behringer pedals and they never break. Others have behringer pedals and they break. I did this because my behringer pedal broke and I started messing around with them, and I actually destroyed 3 of them, and I ruined the electronics on them by messing around with them, because it's kind of hard to do this. But anyway, let's open this up. So if you are in a position where you want to do this, you can do it. But I don't think it's worth it. I really don't think it is. Only do this if your enclosure is broken, is what I'm trying to say. But let's open this up and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so first off, when you open the pedal, there's a tiny little switch in the bottom. And that switch, you need to remove it. There are 4 connections. These 2 connections you can ignore. They're just the same connections as the one over here. And you take those two connections and you attach them to a switch. Now, you can basically use any switch. I just took one that I had. This is the easiest thing you have to do, and it's not anything special or difficult. You just attach two wires there. You can actually keep the switch in place if you want to. It's, you know, when I say remove, I don't necessarily mean that you have to remove it physically. You can just take it out of the equation basically by attaching two new wires at the end. But this is the way it looks. I hope this makes sense to you. It's actually just a plus and a minus. I know both wires are red right here, but that really doesn't matter. You can make one red and one black if you want to, and then connect them to your switch. And you can have a 2-point switch if you want to. That's what I recommend, or a 6-point, double throw, and just attach one to each side. It's super easy and nothing special. Let's go on to the next part. Okay, so the next thing I did, and this is just because these things are kind of difficult to do and messy and annoying. You have these connections here. They are for the jacks. And if you start messing with them, sometimes something goes wrong. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like 50% of the time things go your way, and 50% of the time things don't go your way. Some of these pedals you can do this mods to, and some of these pedals you can't do these mods to. So what I did is I took one of these wires, the L-shaped pedal in between cables, whatever they're called, and I cut it in half, and then on the plus side and the minus side of the new cables that I stripped out from the middle. I hope that makes sense. I basically just put a jack, like the ones in here, on. And then I plugged the cables in and I screwed the new jacks. So they just become like an extension cable. Now, if you have cables that aren't as thick as mine, there are some that are really slim, then you can get in there and tighter. I didn't use this kind of cable. I used, as you can see, a much narrower one. But I don't have any more of those at hand to show you what they looked like before. And the next part is just the switch. You just check the voltage. I can't show you because the pedal is mounted, and it's kind of difficult to get it out once it's in. It's another reason why making these mods are not worth it, or at least I don't think so. But you have 3 connections, a long and 2 shorts, and the long is usually the long one is usually the ground connection. So you basically put it there, and then you can just mess around and try to find them, or you can just look at the pins. Now obviously you can also reverse it. It all depends on what you want to be the middle connection, the ground or the positive, or if you want the inner sleeve to be the ground or the lead to be. Now I suggest you make sure you make it so it looks like your other pedals, so that you don't have to mess around. Those are the mods. Now you have to come up with a way to drill the holes. You can try to remove the pots and replace them with new ones, but it doesn't work. I've messed up my other pedals, my other behringer pedals, by doing that. I thought that it should work, but I think there's some sort of electronical component in here that prevents you from messing with these pedals too much. And if you look at one of these pedals and you look at what pedal they are actually cloning, you can see that there is a lot more parts in these pedals than the ones that they are copying. And so I think that they have some sort of circuity thing going on that messes with if you mess with the pedal. Because if you try to remove the pots, you're going to have a real headache with trying to figure out what is going wrong. So I would suggest that you take the old enclosure and you use it as a template to where you're going to drill, so that you can pull the original pots through and mount the control knobs on the outside of the new enclosure. Because it's just not worth the hassle of messing around with it. Now this is the easiest way you can make these mods. I don't think it's worth it to go any further than this. There are some jiggery poogery things, and you can definitely work on removing parts from the circuit to allow you to do other things to it, but at the end of the day this is a very cheap pedal and it's not worth the enormous headache you're gonna have. Trust me, I've had a lot of headaches doing this. Also need to put some sort of tape. You can use masking tape or gaffer tape or whatever, electrical tape, on the back of the new enclosure, because the pedal parts will short circuit themselves out. Just remember to do that. It's better to just buy a pedal kit. I'll leave a link in the description to the Music Ding website where you can find almost any pedal you would want as a kit, and you can build them, and they are really fun and amazing, and you get to have a lot more fun, and you learn about how to make pedals in a much better way than to do this. So yeah, I hope this helped you in some way. You can definitely do the whole rehouse the Behringer pedal, but it's, in my opinion, it's just not worth it, because there are better pedals out there. There are kits that are better pedals. I would say almost all kits that you can buy out there are better, will give you a better quality pedal than a Behringer pedal. And you can buy some of those kits for like, I don't know, half the price of a Behringer pedal, or a third or something. The Behringer pedal are a thing of the past, I think. They are no longer those amazingly cheap pedals. They are just cheap pedals. But you're comparing cheap to something that is maybe handmade by a boutique store. And that's also unfair, I suppose. So if you want to do this, this is how I did it. Just, copy those things I've told you that I did. I've tried switching out the pots, but it's just not worth it. It's too much of a headache, and you can't really show how to do it on all Behringer pedals. You have to go into every individual pedal and look at the circuit and look at the parts and how to mess around with it. So it's these mods that I show you now will work on any Behringer pedal, no matter what kind it is. But otherwise we will have to start talking about very specific pedals, and I personally just don't think it's worth it. If you have a broken one, sure, but if you're buying a bunch just to mod them, then it's not worth it. Anyway, I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, or if you just want to talk about it. I don't mean to say that the Behringer pedals are bad pedals. If you like them, you like them, and I think that's great. I actually like the Behringer pedals. That's one of the reasons why I even bothered trying. But it's just not worth the effort, because building this was so much harder than it was building this pedal. And building this wasn't fun at all, while that other pedal was really fun to make. And it is a really great pedal. And I hope this helped. Let me know if it did. I look forward to talking to you guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.